What is over the line? What qualifies as an unacceptable position for a major party nominee to hold in this year's elections? What earns a reprimand from the party? What earns other politicians distancing themselves from a position that is too extreme? What's too extreme? This year, a lot of positions that used to be politically over the line seem to be viable. Positions like Social Security should be abolished. Women should be forced to bear their rapists' babies. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a bad idea. Those positions, despite what they've been seen as in previous years, this year aren't necessarily seen as too controversial. But is there anything that is too far out there, too over the line? How about a candidate saying that if conservatives don't get what they want in this year's elections, we should expect conservatives to use guns instead to get what they want? That was the position held by a Nevada Republican Senate candidate named Sharron Angle, who at the outset nobody expected to win. Here she is explaining that position on conservative radio back in January.
You know, if this Congress keeps going the way it is, people are really looking toward those Second Amendment remedies. They're saying, my goodness, what can we do to turn this country around? And I'll tell you, the first thing we need to do is take Harry Reid out.
Here, Sharron Angle is explaining that same concept some more that same month.
The Second Amendment is the right to keep and bear arms for our citizenry. This is not for someone who's in the military. This is not for law enforcement. This is for us when our government
if we need it at any time in our history, it might be right now.
Well, it's to defend ourselves. Yeah. And, you know, I'm hoping that we're not getting to Second Amendment remedies. I hope the vote will be the cure for the Harry Reid problems.
But if the vote isn't the cure, if the vote doesn't work against the Harry Reid problems, then there's the Second Amendment, there's guns. Just to make sure it is super clear that Sharron Angle is in fact threatening that conservatives should be expected to use guns to get their way if they don't get the results they want from the next election. In May, Sharron Angle told the Reno Gazette-Journal, quote, "The nation is arming. What are they arming for if it isn't that they are so distrustful of their government? They're afraid they'll have to fight for their liberty in more Second Amendment kinds of ways." That's why I look at this as almost an imperative. If we don't win at the ballot box, what will be the next step? What will be the next step if conservatives don't get what they want in the election? Sharron Angle is warning that it will be conservatives using guns to try to get their way. This is not the hyperbole. There's no further context to these remarks. She keeps volunteering this quote over and over again. This is what she's been saying. All of those comments were made before Sharron Angle became Nevada's official Republican nominee for the United States Senate. Since becoming the nominee, the Republican Party's been trying to give her sort of a moderation makeover, redesigning her website and telling her to challenge the context in which some of her stated positions are being quoted back to her by reporters. But now, despite all of that, she is still making the case that America should expect conservatives to use guns, to use weapons to try to get what they want if they don't get what they want from the election results. Today, in a remarkable ABC News interview, Sharron Angle was given one more chance to recant or at least soften that position. And what did she do? She did challenge the interviewer, saying she is being taken out of context, but she then proceeded to reiterate her original position, once again articulating the belief that we should expect conservatives to get their guns if they aren't satisfied with this year's elections.
We were discussing once again, in a context of the Second Amendment, we were having a discussion about the Founding Fathers and why they had put the Second Amendment into the Bill of Rights. And they felt that there were times when governments became tyrannical, that we needed to have a place for the people to be able to secure the blessings of liberty, which is what they did in the Revolutionary War, as you know, and that was why they put the Second Amendment into the Constitution, and that was what we were speaking of on that program was the whole Second Amendment and why it was there.
And of course, Jefferson said the Tree of Liberty needs to be fed with the blood of tyrants and patriots from time to time. But I mean, could you foresee us getting in a situation where there is such anger in this country that we're in a revolutionary situation again?
Well, I think that at the conclusion of that discussion, I said I hope not.
Yeah. But do you think it's possible? I mean, hoping.
Well, of course, anything is possible, I suppose.
Yeah.
The National Republican Senatorial Committee and the National Republican Committee are funding this campaign where the candidate says expect conservatives to try to use the Second Amendment, try to use guns to get what they want if they lose the election. Given the opportunity to recant that, now that she is the Republican Party's official nominee for Senate, the candidate has essentially just reiterated it and laughed. Is this considered a mainstream position now? Everybody down with this idea? NRSC, RNC, you guys okay with this? If this is now a mainstream position, that we should expect armed political violence in this country if conservatives don't get what they want in the next election, this is a mainstream position. What counts as over the line now?